understanding how the arms work in the backswing is such an important part of creating potential power and potential consistency. Time for our transformational tip presented by Morgan Franklin. So we come over here to the hub and get a look at what I think is a really good golf swing, absent of one little position that's taking place, and it occurs through the backswing, and it pins an arm. Charles has a beautiful motion right here. Watch this. You look at this and you go, wow, what is wrong with that motion? A lot of power, a lot of flexibility, a lot of length in the swing. What is it? Well, watch this position right here at the top of the swing. As he starts to take the club back, look at the position of this trail forearm right there. See the angle that's at? Now, this is what I can tell you. At the top of the backswing, the forearm can be parallel to the spine or perpendicular to the ground. But once it gets too far like this, and particularly with how close that trail elbow is to the rib cage, all of a sudden you can get pinned, and it can create some real problems with start lines on shots. What you want to have is you want to have a little bit of movement off the body with the trail elbow. You want some space in between the rib cage and the trail elbow. And right here with Charles, while it's a beautiful golf swing, he obviously sent this to me because he's struggling a little bit, right? So what do you think of my swing? I go, Charles, beautiful, except we got a little problem here. And this is something that back in, I can't even tell you the year, but it was probably 2012, 2013, when I was down at Bay Hill for the API. Kevin Na came up to me and said, Michael, just tell me what you think of my trail forearm. And he had the exact same problem. That forearm was in this position here. And we talked briefly about it. And I said, I think you got to let that elbow, kind of trail elbow, get off the rib cage. Now, I'm not saying that that's what he did, but it certainly has gotten better with Kevin. It's helped his game. He's had a lot of wins since 2013. And I think this is something that's going to help quite a bit. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we get away from this elbow getting pinned. Now, how does it get pinned? It gets pinned through forearm rotation. So what happens with Charles here is that when he takes the club back, there's an immediate rotation of the arms and not a lot of lifting. Now we start to get a lift, but what happens is that this forearm gets so pinned in here that this club head is now a little bit behind and a little bit stuck. And so now what happens from there is he's got to try to find a way to generate a square face. And what he's going to do is he's going to try to flip those hands. That's why you see that release so hard with that trail arm over the lead arm. So let's get in the hitting area here and just talk about this for a second. I need one other thing here. I'm going to need this. I'm going to get to this in a second. So what's happening is that when the club is going in the backswing, the forearms are rotating, and I'm exaggerating this. The forearms are rotating dramatically, and now what happens is that trail forearm is down here in this fashion. And when it's here, it's really flat. It's what we call width. I mean, depth. There's a lot of depth, and there's not a lot of width in the swing. We're back here like this, and now it's trailed out. What I want to have happen is I want that club to go back, and I want you to feel like the forearm, the trail forearm is above the lead forearm for as long as it can be. And then I want you to feel like you're letting this trail arm lift the club up into the air right here. So when I'm up there, now all of a sudden you can see that forearm now is in a much better position than it being so flat, rolled over, and laid off. Now I'm in here. And you can see that position right there. That's exactly what I want to see. Boom, and now the club works out in front. Here's what this is for. Put this under the trail arm like this, and what we want to have happen is we want to feel like that forearm is on top, the trail forearm on top of the lead forearm in the backswing. And then when you start to come up, I want you to make that head cover leave. I want it to be able to drop to the ground. So this drill goes like this. Forearm on top, lift and drop, and then come down. Okay? And we do that drill one more time. Forearm on top, lift and drop, and then come down. And we get used to that feeling of width and up instead of depth and back. All right, now we've done that, say, 47 times. And now what I want you to do here is forearm on top and lift and drop. Okay, so we go. And now all of a sudden you get some real lift through that coming through the shot. And all of a sudden you get some power. And this ball will explode off of the club. Remember, that trail forearm is essential for getting the club in front of you, not getting it so far behind. And that's why that golf ball was able to start on the line intended or even to the left, because now it's in front of me instead of getting so deep in that backswing. And when you get depth in the backswing, it can be great for some. It can be detrimental for others. And Charles, that's one of the things that you need to work on. Do that drill. And for all of you, check that forearm position at the top of the backswing. See where it is. And if it's a little bit too late off, give that drill a shot. That's a transformational tip presented by Morgan Franklin.